Hey everyone, this is Gwydion, and this video I'm putting together really just to show people how I set up my sounds for streaming. So this isn't necessarily a video on how to or exactly what my recommendations are, but I feel like people sometimes ask me about my stream and kind of how I set things up. So if nothing else, maybe it'll help give you some ideas on what you might want to do. But again, this isn't all a recommendation so much. It is just kind of a walkthrough about how I set up all of my sounds to stream. So, it starts with voicemeeter potato. And you'll see in this one, not everyone knows this, but when you download voicemeeter, and in this case, potato, there is a 64-bit version. You have to look for it. So in another video, I can show you where. But if you don't see this x64, then you've got the 32-bit version. I'm not sure how relevant it is, but just an FYI. So you'll see that actually, even though I have my mic listed here, I don't put my mic into voicemeeter. I'll explain that in a bit, but just for now, I'll stick with kind of what I do with voicemeeter. I do bring Discord in, so when my players talk, it comes through here in Discord, or in voicemeter, and then I hear it, and I send it out to A1 to hear. You'll notice that I've changed this recently. I used to use WDM as my drivers, but now I'm using KS. I had a recent issue with a Windows update, and WDM became really crackly and garbled for me. So I tried a few different things that didn't work, but then I switched to KS drivers, and so far that's worked just fine. I send Sirenscape in through cable B, so you'll see that here. Sometimes I put things in these two. Right now, I left them blank as far as the label, just to show you that I'm not really using these two right now, but I have the cables connected if I need to use them. My desktop sounds, just my normal desktop. If I'm playing YouTube or something, it comes right through this channel. I named it desktop. And I'm sending it to A2 just so I can hear it. A2 is the wireless headset I'm using right now. That's my Apple AirPods. Then I'm monitoring, and I'll show you, I'm actually using a program called Audio Movers to send sound to my players. So I monitor that so I can hear the sounds through this channel. And then RPG Sounds is another program I use to play sound, and that is coming through VAIO3. You can see my main output speakers just when I just want to hear it off my headset or whatever, and then the headphones, which is what I'm listening to right now. If you go to menu, this shows I have everything set to 48,000 kilohertz. Actually, my AirPods, I think just they may not be set up yet, but in general, I would recommend you setting everything to either 48 or 44.1. So you can see down here the preferred main sample rate. I would recommend that you keep that consistent with whatever you have so that everything's the same to the extent you can. You'll also notice, and this will be relevant later, these patch inserts are when you're basically connecting directly to another program. So what it does is, if I have Sirenscape in this case, if you look from left to right, you can see at the bottom in number 3, that's the third column. So that's my Sirenscape. So when I'm connecting these two patch inserts, I'll be connecting Sirenscape directly with certain cables, and I'll show you how that works. All right, so just briefly, I'll show you. You guys are probably familiar with Sirenscape. This is the interface for Sirenscape. So I've got all my different sound sets up here that I can play. And I also use RPG Sounds. Still very much in beta. You can see they're not even at version 1 yet. The actual player is free and is available on Steam, and I'll post a link to that. These are all sound files that I've uploaded myself that I own. So the cool thing about this is they sell their own sound packs, but you can also upload all your own sound programs. They do have an online hosting ability. I don't use that right now. It's not stereo and it's still in beta, but it's an option. And I've got a bunch of sessions already pre-programmed, but you can see like Crypt of the Everflame is a module I'm running for Pathfinder 2. And you can see a lot of these are set up to where all I have to do is click on this link. In some cases, like Introduction Town Life, I hit play and everything will play. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. So let's see. Some of the other programs I use that I want to show you is I use a program called Audio Router. And I do this just for simplicity. Some programs like RPG Sounds and Sirenscape, they don't directly let you set where you want to play back those sounds from those programs. So I use this, and I'll post a link to this too, to actually force it. So if I click on this, I can double click on it, and I can change this to whatever input I want. When you do that, you'll have to reboot voicemeeter, but it works pretty cool. So you can see I'm sending RPG Sounds to VIO 3 input and Sirenscape to cable input. All right. Let me show you next OBS. So actually, even before that, I want to show you the other program I use on my mic, and I won't do a lot with this, but I want to show you quickly. I should have had this up, but that's fine. Equalizer APO. I don't think this will affect anything on the stream, hopefully not. But this is a program where I use to actually affect my mic. So I'm not sending my mic through voicemeeter, but I'm using Equalizer APO to tweak my mic and do things like take out background noise, add compression, add equalization to modulate my voice a little more. So I won't spend a lot of time in this. The one thing I will show you, because I think it might be relevant for a lot of you, in addition to gates, to where I make sure that sound doesn't come in that I don't want, I also have this RIA plugin, which is pretty cool. And these RIA plugs, I'll try to remember to post a link to these too. But these are all free. And what I've done here, this whole modulation you see of all these sound waves, is I'm basically taking out background noise. Like when I play in my basement, I've sometimes got some air conditioning going. And in the basement, I actually have a sump pump that comes on every once in a while. So I've run this program to where it will filter out all of these sounds underneath this sound wave, if you will. So it's a cool, I won't go into the details of how that works, but it's a cool way to kind of make it to where all that sound that's background and ambient doesn't come through your mic. You can do it in voicemeeter. There's other places you can do it. But again, that's what I use. So let's go to OBS. I'm going to pull it over for a second. You'll see the infinity screen. But I wanted to show you, for those that don't know, you can right-click and unclick Enable Preview, and that way you don't have to see that. So this is one of my setups. So I'm on my Fantasy Grounds setup within OBS. You can see all my audio files. So there's a number of ways you can set up. You can set up a very simple audio setup to where it's only capturing, say, one output from voicemeeter. But what I'm doing is I'm capturing every input directly. And if you look at your mics, you can see my mic going up and down. If you right-click on this and click on Properties, then you can change what device this is. So obviously you can see this is my mic. But if you right-click and click on Filters, you can put a number of different filters to affect your mic in terms of how it sounds going out to the stream. So I have gain set up in case in a pinch I want my voice to be louder or softer, but you can see that this little eyeball is going to slash through it and it's grayed out, so I'm not using this right now. I am using LoudMax. This is a plugin that what it does basically is, the way I've set it up, I'm setting it as a limiter. You can also use this to boost your sound. But what I'm setting it up is that my mic will never go above 1.0, negative 1.0 data decibels. So all I'm using this for is like if I don't know, if I yell or if something happens that's super loud, I drop my keyboard, it's never going to go above -1 decibel. So it's a hard cap. So I just use it as a limiter in the OBS. I've got Discord, so pretty much the same, but my filters are a little different. I've got a gain, and that is on, and I've got it just set so that the players' voices come in slightly lower than mine. Again, just preference. And I do have a limiter again, so the LoudMax this time, I don't know why I have it set a little bit lower than mine. But again, it'll limit so that if somebody screams on stream, it's not going to blow out your eardrums. Sirenscape, and I use a program called Audio Movers, which is why I have this AM next to Sirenscape. But if you look at Sirenscape, I have a few things here. I start with bringing it in a little bit lower, so about 13.8 decibels. Again, you can play around with that. I've got a limiter on this one at -20. And that way, if there's a one-shot sound that I play from Sirenscape that's super loud, it's never going to get above -20 because I really want Sirenscape and RPG sounds to be in the background. Don't want them to be overpowering. So for the stream, I'm just setting this at a -20, so again, it'll never get above that. I also have a sidechain filter. What that does, if you look at over here, there's a lot of data over here. It looks a little confusing. What it's doing is basically it's reducing at a level of 3.5 to 1 the output of Sirenscape whenever my mic is active. So like if I'm talking and as long as my voice is coming in at above -39, which should almost always, it's going to reduce Sirenscape so you can hear me a little bit better. So you can play around with these, whether it's 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1. You can change whatever source you want this to. But right now, I'm just having it duck or reduce whenever my mic is active. And maybe I'll show that in a bit. Same thing for RPG sounds, very similar. Let me go down to that, and then I'll go back to desktop. RPG sounds, again, -15, same limiter, same sidechain. Okay, so again, if I have them all going on, it'll reduce it. And then I have my desktop. So I'm bringing in my desktop at -25. And again, I might mess around with that. Same sidechain and loud max so that it doesn't get super, super high. So that's that. So let me also show you audio movers. So there's a lot of ways that you can send your sound out to your players. I've tried a lot of them. I've done Discord. There's a new one with Discord Audio Bot that works pretty well. That's in stereo, and it's easy for the players, but I still don't find the quality quite as good as I want. So I use, and I pay for this. It's you can do it weekly. I think for like $3.99 a week. I pay for $99 a year, so I'm not again advocating, but there's a way. This used to be something that you had to use within your DAW, like Ableton Live or one of those DAWs, digital audio workstations. But now they have a standalone application. So what I do, and I'll show it to you, is this is what it looks like. So you've got my name up here, my password. I'm logged in. The way I have it set it up, this is just the name of the session, but you can change the latency to be whatever you want, up to 2 seconds. So if you want it as close to real time as you want, you can make it 0.1. I find 0.3 doesn't seem to tax my system that much, and it's not very much latency. Quality, you can actually go up to 192 kilobits with this AAC. And that, I think that works best in terms of the taxing on my system and the quality. These PCM are actually uncompressed files. So if you really wanted to, you can send uncompressed audio directly out of this. And this is where the patch inserts come in, and gets a little confusing. But what I'm doing here is I'm capturing, you can see this insert left and right. I'm capturing Sirenscape in here and sending it out. And I'm capturing RPG sounds in this, so left and right for stereo sounds. The way I have this set up, and I have to log out for a second to show you. So this is my setup. And so I've got it set up for ASIO and voicemeeter potato insert, virtual insert. So I'm going directly into those patch inserts. And then my sample rate I kept consistent. And I kept the samples at what my buffer is in voicemeeter. So that's all that. And then I've set up the monitoring to be insert 7 left and right. So let me just show you what that means. So if you think about the inputs here, the strips, my mic is 1, Discord 2, Sirenscape 3, and then 4, 5, 6 for desktop, 7. This is my aux. So this is where I'm monitoring. And then 8 for RPG sounds. So again, if you do that, you've got to make sure that you turn on or click to where they turn blue, these inserts. And that's like a direct patch into these. All right. So let me do this. I'm going to play a sound. I'm going to start playing like a background in Sirenscape, some kind of horror background, tension level 2. So I can see that you're hearing it. It doesn't look very loud as you're picking it up. You can see it's coming through here. It looks like it's really low for you. I'm hearing it pretty good. There we go. It's starting to come up a little bit more in the But you can see it's coming in here, and I'm hearing it. And if you look at how my voice meter looks like, you can see I'm hearing it because it's coming through this monitor, this voice meter aux, and I've got A2 to send it to my headphones. Nothing else is lighting up, right? And that's because I'm patching it directly into the program. So Sirenscape is going directly into this program. Now, if I want to stream this, then basically I will log in, and then I click Start Streaming, and now the stream is going, and you can see I can have up to 40 clients connected to this. And if I copy the streaming link, and then I open up a window, and I wouldn't do this because I don't want to hear it, but this is what our players would look like. They'd click on that link, they'd click Start Listening, and I'm going to mute it automatically. But you can see, they can see a little bit of information. It's audio movers, it's Gwyd's audio stream, 0.3 second latency, it's coming in at 48 kilohertz, and what channels I'm sending to them. And they can move the slider up and down. Right now, I've only got Sirenscape. When I put RPG sounds through, you'll see these other two channels. Let me do that. So let's just, this probably isn't, I'll do shadowy shapes because I don't want this to be too overwhelming. So I click play, and you can hear that coming through. That one's pretty loud. And that should, unless I've screwed something up, let me go back into audio movers and look at this. So now that should be bringing in the left and right. You can see those going in and being sent out. So let me go back and see if I have to refresh the stream. I'm going to refresh the page. Yeah, there we go. I'll have to look and see if you have to do that. That'll be interesting if that needed to be refreshed. But now you can see all the channels are active and it's going. One other thing I wanted to show you is OBS. Now, if this is working right, let me move this over. So look at the levels of RPG sound. Like, I'm going to stop talking. Now I'm going to start talking. So it peaked up at about -25, but again, it's going to duck. When my voice comes in, it's going to reduce. And then it'll peg back up when I stop talking. Sirenscape is so low right now, but let me turn off RPG sounds for a second. And let me play a one-shot. That's kind of long. I'm going to do a force missile. So now that force missile is loud, but when I'm talking, it goes back down. So it's just, I don't know. It's, to me, I like the control that I get with this listen to program through audio movers, and it's worth it for me because I just really enjoy sounds. I'm going to turn off this background. The only other thing I'll share with you, and then I'll cut this video off, is, you know, there has been, I guess I didn't, give me 1 second, turn this off. Sometimes people have problems with Discord, and there's a lot of different solutions and things you can try. One of the things that somebody turned me on to, and again, I know it's one more program, so take it for what it's worth, but it's called Process Lasso. And this helps. There's a video, and I'll post a link to this too, that shows how this is used. But some people have had success when only Discord is a problem with voicemeeter, but they're having a robotic sound in Discord and they just can't get it fixed. This helps manage your system and balance the performance. And there's some specific ways that he says to use some of the rules in Process Lasso, but it's free. So I've been using it, and it seems to do a good job of just kind of balancing out what's being used in my system. So that's it. So look, everyone, that's my overview right now. I like how my system's working. I like the sounds, and hopefully it gives you a little inspiration and you take something from this. So hope you found this useful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down and tell me why. Tell me what I can do better next time. So till next time, I'll see many of you on the Fantasy Grounds forums. Thanks for watching.